Setting out. Tonight you are going on a journey of discovery. It is a journey that was written about many years ago, a journey that involved traversing deserts and following a star. It is a journey of wise men in search of divine wisdom and truth. On our journey, we will travel with the wise men of old that Matthew in his Gospel, his story of Jesus, tells us about. The wise men may or may not have existed, but Matthew invites us to be wise. He invites us to see a new secret of life, to find a new hope and a new future. They prepared well, for they were wise. What would you take on a long, arduous journey? They set off to follow a star that was to guide them to a new king in Judah, an occupied territory in the Roman Empire. The people of Bethlehem in Judah had been saved many years before from another oppressor. The Egyptians had held them captive as slaves until the God of their fathers raised up Moses to save them. Matthew casts this baby Jesus as a new Moses. He escapes death while the other babies are murdered. He flees with his parents to Egypt. He has 5 major sections in his teaching, like the 5 books of Moses. He delivers his teaching on a mountain, like Moses receiving the 10 Commandments. And as Moses left Egypt with the converted magicians of Pharaoh's court, now more foreign magicians, or magi as we call them, come to honor this new Moses. Not only does Matthew cast Jesus as a new Moses, he has a lot more to tell us about him in the gifts that the wise men or magi bring. Please move on to the gold tent. A wise gift. Gold. If you are going on a journey to visit someone special, you might take a present. In the Christmas story, the wise men believed the new baby was going to be a very important person, so they brought very expensive and unusual presents with them. Each present had a special meaning. Do you remember what the 3 gifts were? We're going to think about the first gift, gold. What does gold make you think of? Why do you think the wise men gave gold to a baby? Is it the kind of gift you would normally give a baby? Did you know that gold lasts for a very long time? It doesn't react with most other elements easily, and so doesn't tarnish or rust. Some of the world's most ancient artifacts are made of gold. Kings and queens have worn gold throughout history to boast of their wealth and demonstrate their riches. Matthew sees Jesus as a new King David, and so has the famous king as one of Jesus' ancestors in the Jesus family tree he puts at the beginning of his gospel. However, for Matthew, Jesus as the new Moses is even more important. Moses was the bringer of the everlasting promise of God to save, love, and care for God's people. So perhaps in this gift of gold, Matthew is reminding us not only of Jesus as King, but more so of Jesus as the everlasting one, the reminder of God's never-ending love. Can you think of something that you would like to last all through your life? Perhaps love, faith, hope, peace. Before you move on, take a gold card from the table. You will need it later on. Move on now to the frankincense tent. Another wise gift, frankincense. The second gift was frankincense. Frankincense, or olibanum, as it is also known, comes from the sap of 5 varieties of the boswellia tree. It was used in ancient times in religious gatherings for burning, and is still used today to make incense. It comes in crystal form or as a liquid and in impregnated burning sticks. The smell in the air now is a form of frankincense. When incense is burned, there is a characteristic white plume of smoke that rises up. It has long been associated with prayers rising up before God, and is considered a pleasing aroma to show worship to God. Why do you think the wise men gave frankincense to Jesus? Nowadays, Christians believe that God is not far away, not somewhere above the sky as they did in the time of Jesus. God is everywhere, all around us. We can pray to God anytime, anywhere, about anything. Matthew seems to associate Jesus with God so closely that he is seen as the fulfillment of the people's hope that God would come and deliver them. The burning of frankincense seems akin to the burning bush in the Moses story. It marks God's presence with people. For Matthew, Jesus is the bridge, the link between heaven and earth. Perhaps this Christmas, as we remember the gift of frankincense, we can remember that God is but a breath away. Move on to the myrrh tent. A third wise gift, myrrh. The third gift that the wise men took on their journey was myrrh. Myrrh comes from the sap of a variety of thorn bushes in the Comifera genus. In Jesus' time, doctors used it to help people who were in pain. It had both antiseptic and pain-relieving properties. When Jesus was crucified, he was offered soured wine, which is thought to have been a mixture of wine and myrrh. There is myrrh on the table in oil form. Feel free to smell it, or even dab some on the back of your hand. This myrrh is mixed with olive oil, which was also used by ancient medics. Why give myrrh to a baby? Apart from the obvious use for the baby, as both pain reliever and antiseptic, perhaps there is an allusion here to Jesus as healer. Again, Moses enters the picture, for God tells Moses to lift up a snake on a pole when the people have suffered snake bites. Through their act of faith in looking at the uplifted snake, God heals the people. This is the origin of the symbol we still have today for various medical items and charities. Is Matthew hinting here again at Jesus being a new Moses, one who would heal God's people? Or is he alluding instead to the death of Jesus and the myrrh mixed with the wine? Think of your own pain. God invites you to come to Jesus, the healer. Jesus is sometimes referred to as the wounded healer, meaning that because he suffered, he can better empathize with our suffering. Move on to the next tent with the Christmas tree in it. Christmas present. Your gift for Jesus. We have thought about how the wise men found their way on the journey. We've thought about the presents they took with them and the deeper meanings that Matthew has behind them. Now we invite you to think about the presents we give to each other at Christmas time. Why do we give presents to each other? Is it more than just reciprocating? More than giving a good present so we will get a good present? If you could give a present to Jesus, absolutely anything you wanted to in the world, what would it be? Often, the best gifts are not something you can buy from a shop with money. They are gifts that you cannot buy. Can you think of anything that would be good to give to someone that doesn't cost any money? Maybe love, friendship, care, for example. Think of what you would like to give Jesus and write it or draw it on the gold card you have brought with you. Move on into the last tent. Beneath the star, the stable and the manger. Eventually, the star that the wise men followed stopped above a stable in Bethlehem. When they went inside, the wise men found baby Jesus with his mother, Mary. If you would like to, when you are ready, you can put your gift for Jesus in the manger. What are you hoping for this Christmas when you open your presents? Remember that the best gifts don't always cost money. The Romans in the time of Jesus enforced the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome. It simply meant you do what Rome orders, or you suffer the consequences. The ultimate consequence being a humiliating death in the form of crucifixion. Jesus advocated peace through love, even love of one's enemies. And because of his radical teaching, he suffered that death. The early Christians and Matthew understood his birth and death as a sacrifice of love. On that first Christmas, God gave a present to the world. Jesus, the one to save his people from oppression, the one who showed a new way to peace. God gave Jesus to show us what God was like, to show us that God loves us and wants to give us gifts that will last, like love, peace, hope, and joy. Which of these gifts do you need most this Christmas? In the special box on the table, there is something for you to take away, which will remind you that Jesus is God's gift to you at Christmas, and that God is always with you right through the year. This is the end of the tour. Thank you for journeying on the Star Trail.